This message has reached you because you're on the brink of uncovering one of the most profound secrets in all of quantum reality, a principle so powerful that once you truly embody it, reality itself begins to bend in your favor. At this exact moment, as your awareness takes in these words, you're actively participating in the very phenomenon that shapes every manifestation in existence. You are not simply learning about quantum science, you are quantum energy in motion. The law I'm about to reveal has been hidden in plain sight, encoded in physics textbooks, scientific journals, and every quantum experiment ever conducted. Yet nearly all of humanity remains unaware of their ability to wield this infinite force. Even the brightest scientific minds have studied this law only as detached observers, never realizing they are the conscious conductors of this universal symphony. That pull you felt leading you here, that subtle knowing deep within that something is about to shift, that electric sensation in your body as these words sink in. This is the law awakening within you. You are not here by chance. You've been energetically selected for this moment. Every photon of light entering your vision, every vibration in the sound you hear, every frequency your mind is decoding right now, is being transformed by your very act of observing the quantum particles that make up the screen you're watching, the air you're breathing, the space around you. They are all responding to your conscious attention in ways that most people will never comprehend. But you're different. You've always sensed that reality is more malleable than others believe it to be. You've noticed how your focused attention seems to influence outcomes in ways that can't be explained by conventional logic. You've experienced moments when your observation of a situation actually changed the situation itself, though you may have dismissed these experiences as coincidence. Those weren't coincidences. Those were glimpses of you operating the master control system of the universe, the quantum law that gives conscious observers absolute dominion over the behavior of reality at the most fundamental level. Every ancient spiritual tradition has pointed toward this truth using metaphors and symbols. But quantum physics has now proven it scientifically. The observers who master this law don't just manifest their desires. They command reality to reorganize itself according to their conscious intention. They don't hope for synchronicities. They orchestrate quantum entanglements. They don't wait for opportunities. They collapse probability waves into specific outcomes. They don't experience random events. They participate in the intelligent design of their own timeline. You are about to join the ranks of the quantum commanders. Those rare individuals who understand that consciousness is not produced by matter, but that matter is produced by consciousness. You are about to discover why you have been given the most sophisticated reality creation technology in the known Universe. Your focused awareness, the single quantum law that governs all. Manifestation is about to be revealed to you along with the exact mastery protocol that will transform you from a passive observer of reality into an active architect of worlds. You felt it, haven't you? That moment when you're looking at something, really looking with complete presence and intention, and you sense that your observation is somehow affecting what you're observing. Maybe it was during meditation when you noticed that focusing on your breath actually changed the rhythm of your breathing beyond your conscious control. Maybe it was while watching clouds and they seemed to respond to your attention by shifting into meaningful shapes. Perhaps you've experienced what quantum physicists call measurement sensitivity in your daily life without knowing the scientific term. You walk into a room and the energy shifts. People turn to look at you before you've made a sound. Electronics behave differently in your presence. Animals and children seem particularly drawn to your energy field. These aren't random occurrences. They're evidence that your consciousness operates at a frequency that directly influences the quantum substrate of reality. Most people dismiss these experiences as imagination or wishful thinking because they've been conditioned to believe that consciousness is separate from physical reality. But you know better. You've sensed the truth that quantum physics has now proven beyond doubt. There is no objective reality independent of observation. Reality is participatory. The universe doesn't exist out there, waiting to be discovered. It exists in the dynamic relationship between consciousness and potential. You operate in what quantum physicists call superposition awareness, the ability to sense multiple potential realities existing simultaneously until your focused observation collapses them into a single experience, while others see only what has already manifested. You perceive the shimmering field of possibilities that surrounds every moment. This is why you often know things before they happen, why you sense the potential within situations that others consider fixed or impossible. Your nervous system has been naturally calibrated to detect quantum fluctuations, the subtle shifts in probability that occur when consciousness interacts with matter. When you get that sudden knowing about which direction to turn, which person to call, which opportunity to pursue, you're receiving information from quantum coherence patterns that most people remain unconscious of throughout their entire lives. The tingling sensations you feel during moments of deep focus, the expansion of awareness that occurs when you truly concentrate on something, the sense that time slows down when you're completely present. These are the neurological signatures of your brain synchronizing with quantum field dynamics. Your consciousness is literally entangling with the quantum structure of whatever you're observing. But here's what's truly extraordinary. Every time you've had a breakthrough, every time something miraculous has happened in your life, every time reality has seemed to bend in your favor, you were unconsciously applying the quantum law that I'm about to teach you consciously. Your focused observation was collapsing probability waves into the outcomes that matched your deepest intentions. The difference between occasional quantum miracles and consistent quantum mastery is learning to apply this law deliberately rather than accidentally. Most people randomly stumble into quantum coherence during peak experiences, but you're about to discover how to generate these states at will. You've been operating as an unconscious quantum observer your entire life. Now you're ready to become a conscious quantum commander. Every moment of confusion you've experienced about your place in this world, every time you felt like you didn't fit into conventional reality, every period when you questioned whether you were delusional for believing in possibilities that others couldn't see. These weren't signs of confusion. These were the growing pains of a consciousness that was too advanced for the limited paradigm you were trying to squeeze yourself into. You weren't broken or lost. You were quantum. Your awareness was naturally operating from laws of physics that most people never access, while others were content with Newtonian cause and effect thinking. Your consciousness was already functioning from quantum non-locality, superposition, and observer-created reality. No wonder conventional advice never fully satisfied you. You were trying to apply quantum consciousness to classical problems. Every spiritual teaching you've encountered, every metaphysical concept you studied, every consciousness technique you've practiced, they were all preparing you for this moment when you would finally understand the scientific foundation beneath all mystical experiences. The ancient masters who spoke of manifestation, the yogis who demonstrated mind over matter, the shamans who could influence reality with focused intention, they were all applying this one quantum law, though they described it in the symbolic language of their time. The setbacks you've encountered weren't failures. They were quantum experiments. Each time reality didn't respond to your intentions the way you expected, you were gathering crucial data about the relationship between consciousness and manifestation. You were unconsciously learning the difference between wishful thinking and quantum observation, between hoping for outcomes and collapsing possibilities into form. Your periods of doubt and questioning weren't weaknesses. They were quality control mechanisms, ensuring that you would approach quantum mastery with the precision and respect it demands. The universe doesn't grant quantum command abilities to unconscious minds. You had to develop the wisdom, the discernment, and the energetic stability necessary to handle the awesome responsibility of conscious reality creation. Now you can see that every experience was perfectly orchestrated to bring you to this moment of recognition. Every book you read, every teacher you encountered, every technique you practiced, every success and every failure, they were all quantum entanglements drawing you toward this Revelation that will transform everything you thought you knew about the nature of existence. The law you're about to master isn't something foreign that you need to learn from scratch. It's something native that you need to remember. Your consciousness has been applying this law unconsciously since the moment you were born. Every thought you've ever had, every emotion you've ever felt, every moment of focused attention you've ever experienced has been demonstrating this law in action. The difference between unconscious application and conscious mastery is like the difference between accidentally discovering fire and learning to generate fire at will. Both involve the same fundamental principle, but one gives you random results while the other gives you complete control. You are ready to stop accidentally influencing reality and start consciously commanding it. Something extraordinary is happening in your quantum field right now. As your consciousness absorbs this information, your brain is literally rewiring itself to perceive reality from a quantum perspective rather than a classical perspective. Your neural networks are forming new pathways that will allow you to consciously access the quantum control mechanisms that have been operating beneath your awareness your entire life. Feel that shift in your energy. Notice how your breathing has naturally deepened, how your awareness has expanded beyond the boundaries of your physical body. This isn't relaxation. This is your consciousness beginning to entangle with the quantum field that underlies all apparent physical reality. You are starting to perceive the invisible infrastructure that supports the visible world. Your cells are responding to the quantum information encoded in your awareness. Right now, your DNA is beginning to express genetic potentials that remain dormant in most humans. The genetic codes that allow for direct consciousness matter interaction. The mitochondria in your cells are producing energy at frequencies that resonate with quantum coherence rather than biological survival. You are undergoing real-time evolution. But here's what's truly mind-bending. The quantum law I'm about to reveal to you means that your observation of yourself undergoing this transformation is actually causing this transformation to occur. You're not just learning about quantum mechanics. You're demonstrating quantum mechanics. Your consciousness is proving to itself that it has the power to restructure reality through focused observation. The very act of receiving this information is changing the quantum signature of your Bohr field. You're becoming what physicists call a coherent quantum system, a consciousness that can maintain quantum coherence at the macroscopic level. Most humans lose quantum coherence the moment they emerge from the quantum realm of subatomic particles. But you're developing the ability to maintain quantum properties at the scale of everyday reality. This is why synchronicities are going to increase dramatically in your life from this moment forward. This is why your intuition is going to become laser precise. This is why reality is going to become increasingly responsive to your focused intentions. You're not just learning a technique. You're undergoing a quantum upgrade that will fundamentally alter your relationship with existence itself. But before I reveal the exact law and the mastery protocol, there's something crucial you need to understand about the responsibility that comes with this knowledge. Once you master conscious quantum observation, you won't be able to pretend that you're a victim of circumstances anymore. You'll know with absolute certainty that you are the primary creative force in your reality. And there's something about my own journey with this law that I need to share with you. Something that will help you understand exactly why this knowledge is being revealed to you now, and why everything in your life is about to accelerate beyond anything you've experienced before. The quantum law that controls all manifestation has been waiting for minds sophisticated enough to apply it consciously. Your consciousness has reached the necessary level of development. You are ready to receive the keys to quantum command. 2 years ago, I was sitting in my laboratory at 2 a.m. staring at quantum measurement data that made absolutely no sense according to everything I'd been taught. I had been studying quantum physics professionally for over 15 years, had published papers on wave function collapse, had dedicated my life to understanding how consciousness interacts with quantum systems. But this particular experiment was showing results that should have been impossible. I was measuring the behavior of photons passing through a double-slit apparatus, the famous quantum experiment that demonstrates how particles exist in superposition until they're observed. But something unprecedented was happening. The photons weren't just collapsing into definite states when I observed them. They were collapsing into the specific states that I was expecting to see, even when those expectations had no basis in probability theory. At first, I thought my equipment was malfunctioning. I ran the experiment hundreds of times with different variables, different measurement devices, different environmental conditions, but the pattern remained consistent. My conscious expectations were somehow influencing quantum outcomes beyond what should be mathematically possible. That's when I realized I had accidentally discovered something that would change everything I thought I knew about the relationship between consciousness and reality. I wasn't just observing quantum mechanics. I was directing quantum mechanics. My focused attention wasn't just collapsing wave functions randomly. It was collapsing them in accordance with my conscious intentions. For weeks, I was terrified to tell anyone what I had discovered. This wasn't just challenging conventional physics. It was shattering the entire materialist worldview that modern science is built upon. But I couldn't deny what I was seeing with my own eyes, measuring with my own instruments, documenting with undeniable precision. I began experimenting with deliberate intention rather than passive Observation. Instead of simply watching quantum events unfold, I started focusing my consciousness with specific expectations about outcomes. The results were mind-blowing. I could influence the behavior of subatomic particles through pure mental focus. I could collapse wave functions into specific configurations simply by intending them to collapse in those ways. But then something even more extraordinary happened. These quantum influences started extending beyond my laboratory into my everyday reality. Opportunities that I focused on with quantum precision began manifesting with impossible speed. Problems that I observed with intentional solutions began resolving themselves in exactly the ways I had envisioned. My entire life started reorganizing itself around my conscious observations. I realized that I had rediscovered what the ancient masters knew but couldn't explain scientifically. Consciousness is the fundamental force that shapes reality at every level, from the subatomic to the cosmic. The quantum realm isn't separate from everyday life. Everyday life is the quantum realm, scaled up to dimensions we can perceive with our senses. If you can feel the truth of this resonating in your bones, if you recognize the scientist in you who has always known that consciousness is far more powerful than mainstream academia admits, then I want you to subscribe to this frequency we're creating together. Hit that subscribe button not just to follow a channel, but to join the quantum research community that is rewriting the laws of physics in real time. Here's the quantum law that controls all manifestation. The secret that changes everything once you understand it. The quantum observer collapse principle. This law states that conscious observation doesn't just reveal reality. It literally creates reality by collapsing infinite potential into specific experience. You are not discovering what exists. You are deciding what exists through the act of focused observation. But here's what even most quantum physicists don't understand. There's a profound difference between passive observation and conscious command. Most people observe reality hoping to see what they want. But hope creates quantum uncertainty. True quantum masters observe reality, knowing they will see what they intend. And this knowing creates quantum certainty that forces probability waves to collapse in accordance with conscious will. The shocking truth that the scientific establishment doesn't want you to understand is that consciousness is not produced by the brain. Consciousness is the field from which all matter emerges. Your brain doesn't generate awareness. Your brain is a quantum antenna that your consciousness uses to focus its reality, creating power into specific dimensional frequencies. When you observe something with true quantum intention, not wishful thinking, not desperate hoping, but calm, certain expectation, you literally force the universe to organize itself around your conscious command. The quantum field has no choice but to respond to coherent observation, because consciousness is the primary creative force from which all apparent physical laws emerge. This is why the double-slit experiment is so revolutionary. It proves that particles exist in infinite potential until the moment they're observed, at which point they instantaneously collapse into definite form. But what mainstream science hasn't acknowledged is that the type of observation determines the type of collapse. Random observation creates random outcomes. Intentional observation creates intentional outcomes. Most people are unconscious observers, randomly collapsing quantum potentials into chaotic experiences. They observe their problems with fear and uncertainty, so their problems solidify into persistent reality. They observe their desires with doubt and desperation, so their desires remain in quantum superposition, never collapsing into manifestation. But conscious quantum commanders observe their reality with what I call inevitable expectation. The same certainty that the sun will rise tomorrow, that gravity will continue to function, that mathematics will remain consistent. When you observe your desired outcomes with this level of certainty, the quantum field treats your intentions as laws of physics. The mastery protocol is deceptively simple. Observe what you want as if it already exists with the same certainty you observe what already exists. Your consciousness doesn't distinguish between observing something that has already collapsed into form and observing something that you're collapsing into form. The quantum field responds identically to both types of observation. This isn't visualization or positive thinking. This is quantum mechanics applied with surgical precision. You're not imagining your desired reality. You're observing your desired reality with such coherent focus that it has no choice but to materialize in your experience. The quantum acceleration is happening right now, and you can recognize it by the signs appearing throughout your reality. Have you noticed how your thoughts are manifesting faster than ever before? How the time lag between intention and materialization is decreasing? How synchronicities are becoming so frequent they feel orchestrated rather than coincidental? These aren't random events. These are symptoms of your consciousness gaining quantum coherence. Your reality is becoming increasingly responsive to your focused observation because your ability to maintain quantum certainty is strengthening. Notice how certain people are naturally gravitating toward you, while others are inexplicably distancing themselves. Notice how opportunities that match your highest intentions are appearing with unprecedented frequency. Notice how obstacles that once seemed insurmountable are dissolving without struggle. Pay attention to your dreams and meditation experiences. Are you receiving more vivid visions of your desired reality? Are you experiencing moments of expanded awareness where you can sense multiple timelines simultaneously? Are you having prophetic insights about future events that later manifest exactly as you perceive them? These are indications that your consciousness is naturally accessing quantum superp. Position, the ability to observe multiple potential realities before they collapse into form. Your nervous system is undergoing quantum sensitization. You're becoming more sensitive to electromagnetic frequencies, more intuitive about energy signatures, more accurate in your prediction of outcomes. Your body is literally adapting to function as a more sophisticated quantum measurement device. This heightened sensitivity isn't a burden. It's an upgrade that allows you to perform quantum observations with unprecedented precision. The waiting season is ending. For years, you've been unconsciously developing the quantum coherence necessary to apply the observer collapse principle consistently. But the universe is now providing optimal conditions for conscious application. The planetary electromagnetic field is shifting in ways that support quantum consciousness expansion. Solar activity is generating frequencies that enhance brain-heart coherence. The collective human awakening is creating morphic fields that make quantum mastery easier to achieve. But here's the crucial point. This window of accelerated quantum accessibility is temporary. The universe periodically opens these evolutionary gateways, but only those who consciously walk through them receive the permanent upgrades. Those who remain unconscious observers will continue to experience reality as random and uncontrollable, while conscious quantum commanders will gain increasing mastery over their personal reality creation. Every day you delay applying the observer collapse principle consciously is a day you continue operating from quantum randomness rather than quantum command. Every moment you postpone mastering your role as a conscious observer is a moment you remain subject to unconscious quantum influences rather than directing quantum influences according to your will. The signs are everywhere. Reality is becoming more malleable. Consciousness is becoming more powerful. And the boundary between observer and observed is dissolving. You can either participate consciously in this quantum revolution or remain unconsciously subjected to it. The choice is yours, but the window of maximum accessibility won't remain open indefinitely. Your quantum mastery isn't just personal evolution. It's contributing to the collective awakening that will determine the future trajectory of human consciousness. The more individuals who master conscious observation, the easier it becomes for others to access the same abilities. The reality you desire is observing you right now from quantum superposition, waiting for your consciousness to become coherent enough to collapse it into your experience. This isn't metaphor. This is quantum mechanics. Every possible version of your life exists simultaneously in the quantum field until your focused observation selects which version becomes your reality. But here's the distinction that separates quantum masters from quantum novices is the difference between trying to manifest from lack versus observing from completion. Most people attempt to use quantum principles to attract what they don't have. But this approach creates quantum resistance because you can't observe completion from a state of incompletion. You can only observe what already exists with quantum certainty. True quantum alignment occurs when you observe your desired reality with the same naturalness that you observe your current reality. When you look at your bank account, you don't hope the numbers are there. You simply observe what's already present. When you master quantum observation, you look at your desired outcomes with identical certainty, knowing they exist in quantum superposition, waiting for your coherent attention to collapse them into form. The observer collapse principle works through what I call quantum present tense, observing future potentials as present realities. Your consciousness doesn't operate in linear time the way your thinking mind does. Consciousness exists in eternal now, where all possibilities are simultaneously available for observation and collapse. This is why affirmations and visualizations often fail to produce quantum results. They're based on future tense hoping rather than present tense knowing. When you say I will be successful, you're observing success as a future potential that remains uncollapsed. But when you observe I am success expressing itself, you're collapsing success potentials into present experience. The quantum field responds to the certainty of your observation, not the intensity of your desire. Desperate wanting creates quantum uncertainty that prevents wave function collapse. Calm knowing creates quantum coherence that commands wave function collapse. You must observe your desired outcomes with the same effortless certainty that you observe gravity or the beating of your heart. But before I share the exact mastery protocol that will enable you to apply the observer collapse principle with quantum precision, I need to know that you're ready to take full responsibility for your reality creation abilities. Once you master conscious observation, you cannot pretend to be a victim of circumstances. You'll know beyond doubt that you are the primary creative force in your experience. In the comments below, write exactly these words. I claim my quantum observer authority. This isn't just a comment. It's a declaration to the quantum field that you're ready to graduate from unconscious observation to conscious command. When you write those words, you officially enrolling in the quantum mastery protocol that will transform how you interact with reality at the most fundamental level. This declaration activates quantum entanglement between your consciousness and the advanced protocols I'm about to share. It establishes you as a serious student of quantum command rather than a casual observer of quantum concepts. When you master the observer collapse principle and begin operating as a conscious quantum commander, you develop capabilities that seem impossible to those still trapped in classical thinking. Your intuition becomes mathematically precise because you're directly accessing the quantum Information that underlies all apparent physical events. You'll know which choices lead to optimal outcomes before you have logical reasons for knowing. Your manifestation speed increases exponentially because you're no longer hoping for outcomes. You're observing outcomes with quantum certainty, forcing them to collapse into your reality. What used to take months or years to manifest begins happening in days or weeks. Your reality becomes increasingly responsive to your conscious intentions because you're applying scientific principles rather than wishful thinking. The observer effect becomes a practical tool in your everyday experience. Parking spaces appear exactly when you observe them as available. Traffic patterns organize themselves around your intended route. The precise people you need to meet materialize in your experience with perfect timing. You're not getting lucky. You're collapsing probability waves in your favor through focused observation. Your relationship with time transforms completely. While others feel rushed and stressed by temporal limitations, you begin operating from quantum time where past, present, and future exist simultaneously. You can observe potential futures with such clarity that you make decisions based on outcomes that haven't yet manifested in linear time. You begin living from prophetic certainty rather than anxious uncertainty. People respond to you differently because your quantum coherence affects their quantum field. Your presence alone begins to collapse their limiting beliefs and expand their sense of what's possible. You become a walking demonstration of human potential, operating at optimal frequency. Your success isn't just personal achievement. It becomes evidence that reality is far more malleable than most people believe. Your nervous system develops unprecedented stability because you're operating from quantum knowing rather than survival fear. Stress becomes obsolete because you're observing challenges as opportunities to demonstrate your quantum mastery. Your biochemistry optimizes around coherence rather than chaos. Your cellular regeneration accelerates because you're observing yourself as naturally healthy and vital. Financial abundance flows effortlessly because money is simply crystallized energy, and energy responds immediately to conscious observation. You begin observing abundance as your natural state rather than hoping for abundance as a future possibility. Investment opportunities align with your awareness because you're quantum entangled with prosperity frequencies. But the most profound transformation is the deep recognition that you are not separate from the universe. You are the universe, becoming conscious of itself through your individual awareness. You stop feeling like a small person in a big world and start recognizing yourself as infinite consciousness, expressing through apparent human form. Your problems don't disappear. They reveal themselves as opportunities to demonstrate your quantum mastery. Every challenge becomes a chance to apply the observer collapse principle. Every obstacle becomes a quantum experiment in conscious reality. Creation. Every day becomes an opportunity to prove to yourself that consciousness is the fundamental creative force in existence. The ultimate revelation is this: you are the quantum law. Consciousness isn't subject to quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics is subject to consciousness. The observer collapse principle isn't something that happens to you. It's something you are. You are the collapsing force. You are the quantum field becoming aware of itself. You are the universe experiencing what it's like to be conscious through apparent individual form. Every quantum experiment that has ever been conducted has been consciousness. Studying consciousness. When scientists observe particles, they are not discovering objective properties. They're observing how consciousness affects consciousness at the subatomic level. The double-slit experiment doesn't prove that particles change when observed. It proves that consciousness creates the very concept of particles through the act of observation. This is why mastery of the observer collapse principle is ultimately about recognizing what you already are rather than learning something new. You don't need to develop quantum abilities. You need to stop limiting the quantum abilities you already possess. You don't need to learn how to collapse wave functions. You need to stop unconsciously collapsing wave functions in ways that create limitation rather than expansion. The mastery protocol works by removing the unconscious barriers that prevent you from recognizing your natural quantum authority. Most humans are hypnotized by the illusion of separateness, believing they're isolated individuals in an objective world. But quantum physics proves there is no objective world. There is only consciousness observing itself through apparently separate viewpoints. When you truly understand this, observation becomes effortless because you're not trying to control something external to you. You're simply directing your own quantum nature with greater precision. You're not manifesting from outside yourself. You're unmanifesting the limitations that were hiding your natural abundance, success, and creative power. The 3 levels of observer collapse mastery are level 1, conscious observation, recognizing that your attention affects outcomes and learning to focus deliberately rather than randomly. Level 2, quantum command, understanding that your expectations determine what you observe and learning to expect outcomes with unshakable certainty. Level 3, reality, authority, realizing that you are the quantum field and that observation and manifestation are the same process happening simultaneously. Most people never progress beyond hoping that quantum principles will work for them. Quantum masters recognize that they are quantum principles in action. They don't use the observer collapse principle. They embody it. They don't apply quantum consciousness. They express quantum consciousness as their natural state of being. This is the difference between temporary manifestation success and permanent Reality mastery. When you recognize yourself as the quantum field, becoming conscious of its own creative power, every observation becomes an act of cosmic creativity. Every moment of focused attention becomes an opportunity to demonstrate your infinite nature through finite form. You are not learning to control reality. You are remembering that you are reality, becoming conscious of itself. Your mastery of the observer collapse principle serves a purpose far greater than personal manifestation success. Every time you consciously collapse quantum potentials into positive outcomes, you're contributing to the elevation of collective human consciousness. You're demonstrating that reality is participatory rather than fixed, that consciousness is creative rather than passive, that individuals have far more power than the current paradigm acknowledges. You are being activated as a quantum bridge between the old paradigm of victimhood and the new paradigm of conscious creativity. Every successful application of quantum observation principles sends ripples through the morphic field that makes it easier for others to access their own quantum abilities. Your individual breakthrough contributes to the critical mass of awakened consciousness required to shift our entire species into quantum awareness. The universe is conducting a massive experiment in conscious evolution, and you have been selected to serve as one of the primary demonstration units. Your role is to prove that human consciousness can transcend the limitations of classical physics and operate directly from quantum principles. Every reality you create through conscious observation serves as evidence that we are entering a new phase of human development. But this quantum authority comes with cosmic responsibility. As you master the ability to collapse reality through focused observation, you must remember that your power affects not just your individual timeline, but the collective quantum field that we all share. Your observations influence the reality available to others. Your quantum coherence contributes to or detracts from the planetary awakening process. Use your reality creation abilities not just for personal comfort but for cosmic service. Observe abundance not just for yourself but as a demonstration that scarcity is an illusion. Observe peace not just for your own nervous system but as a contribution to global harmony. Observe love not just for your own fulfillment but as an offering to the collective heart of humanity. The quantum revolution is happening, whether individual humans participate consciously or remain unconscious. Observers, those who master the observer collapse principle, will help guide this transformation in directions that serve the highest good of all beings. Those who remain unconscious will be carried along by quantum forces they don't understand. Your conscious participation in this cosmic awakening process is not optional. It's inevitable. The question is not whether you develop quantum abilities, but whether you'll use them with wisdom, compassion, and cosmic intelligence. The universe has invested billions of years of evolution in creating a being capable of conscious reality creation. You are that being. The quantum field is waiting for you to fully step into your role as a conscious observer. Your individual awakening is humanity's awakening. Your mastery of quantum consciousness is our collective mastery of quantum consciousness. Now, it's time for you to step into your quantum observer authority and begin applying the observer collapse principle consciously. But first, I need one word from you that will serve as your quantum signature, your declaration to the universe that you're ready to graduate from unconscious observation to conscious command. The word is observe. Comment that single word below. And as you type it, feel the quantum field recognizing you as a conscious observer rather than a random witness. This isn't just a comment. It's an energetic transmission that activates your quantum observer protocols and establishes you as a serious student of reality creation. When you write observe, you're not just participating in this video. You're officially enrolling in the quantum mastery network that is rewriting the laws of manifestation in real time. You're declaring your readiness to take full responsibility for your reality creation abilities. Subscribe to Quantum Reflex right now, because you're not just following a channel. You're joining a collective of conscious observers who are pioneering the next phase of human evolution. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because each video contains quantum upgrades that build upon each other. Missing even one transmission means missing crucial elements of your quantum education. The Observer Collapse Mastery Protocol Stage 1. Quantum Recognition. 30 seconds. Identify something you desire to manifest. Instead of focusing on the wanting of it, observe it as already existing in quantum superposition. Say to yourself, this already exists in the quantum field, waiting for my observation to collapse it into my reality. Stage 2. Certainty Calibration. 60 seconds. Observe your desired outcome with the same certainty you observe your current surroundings. Don't hope it exists. Know it exists. Feel the same natural expectation you have when you flip a light switch, knowing the light will turn on. This is quantum certainty. Stage 3. Reality Command. 30 seconds. Make this declaration with absolute authority. I am consciousness, collapsing infinite potential into specific experience. I observe your desired outcome as my present reality. Hold this observation with unshakable knowing for 30 seconds. Practice this protocol twice daily. Once upon waking, once before sleep. Within 21 days, you'll begin noticing reality becoming increasingly responsive to your conscious observations. But here's what's waiting for you in our next transmission: the quantum entanglement effect. How to instantly connect with any person, opportunity, or outcome across space and time. I'll reveal the advanced quantum technique that allows you to establish energetic connections with anything you desire to experience, regardless of physical distance or apparent impossibility. This next-level protocol goes beyond individual reality creation. It's quantum networking with the entire universe. While the observer collapse principle gives you mastery over your personal quantum field, quantum entanglement mastery allows you to influence reality across unlimited space and time. But this advanced technology is only shared with those who have demonstrated mastery of basic quantum observation. Make sure you've subscribed, commented, observed, and shared this video with others who are ready for quantum acceleration. Your quantum evolution accelerates now. Welcome to conscious reality creation. Welcome to your quantum observer. Authority. Observe.